We've got the Rumble in the Jungle, a famous boxing fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. And it's also the year the terracotta soldiers were found in China. It's 1974, and we've got this viewer submission Renegade to show you. Hey, thanks for watching All Vehicles Great and Small. I'm your host, Tammy Walker. The evolution of the Jeep's Renegade. The first CJ Renegade was designed in 1970 to replace the 1969 462 performance package. The 1971 Renegade 2 offered in paint Baja Yellow, Mint Green, Riverside Orange, and Big Bad Orange. The Renegade 1972 to 1986 became a regular option, and also in 1976 AMC offered the CJ-7 Renegade. After Chrysler took over, they created the Jeep YJ Renegade, and that lasted from 1990 to 1994. And the latest attempt at the Jeep Renegade is a compact SUV. They started out in 2015, and they ceased selling in the US in 2023, but still sell worldwide. After many years of Jeep research, I can tell you that all factual information can change at any time and may contradict itself every time you look for new information on this subject. A viewer submitted his 1974 AMC Jeep CJ5 Renegade. We're so happy to share this vehicle, and we would love to share your vehicle. You can just send us an email at allvehiclesgreatandsmall@gmail.com. The very first CJ was created by Willis Overland in 1944, and the last CJ was by American Motor Company in 1986. The Renegade model was created for the 1970 model year. It was to replace the 1969 462 performance package. The Renegade offered the alloy wheels, the track lock limited slip rear differential, front bucket seats, a rear bench, roll bar, heavy duty chassis, locking differential, oil pan skid plate, rear swing out tire carrier, an ammeter, and an oil pressure gauge. For the 1970 year, they offered two colors, wild plum and mint green. They sold 250 to 500 Renegades that year. And later on, they also offered Baja Yellow, Riverside Orange, and Big Bad Orange. And I also found out they offered a Sierra Blue, but I couldn't confirm what year that was. The CJ5 Renegade was discontinued in 1983, but the CJ7 Renegade continued up until 1986. The 304 V8 was first offered in 1972, and AMC had to add some length to the front end to fit the new AMC power plants. Besides the power plants, the one way you can tell the difference between the Jeep CJ Renegade 1, the Jeep CJ Renegade 2, and the Jeep CJ Renegade 1972 to 1986 is how the decals are. The stripes were expanded and the lettering was enlarged over the years. The 1974 Jeep CJ5 had the height of 5 foot 10 inches, the width of 4 feet 12 inches, and the length of 11 feet and 7 inches. At an 8-inch ground clearance, the wheelbase was 7 feet and it weighed about 2,359 pounds. It could turn a circle in 32 feet and 10 inches, and the gas was about 14 miles to the gallon. The Renegade series were designed to replace the 462 performance package that was put into the 1969 that we showed you earlier in our other videos. We've got our headlights and we've got our markers, our front turn lights here. Looks like we have another aftermarket bumper. We've got the standard grille. Come around. There are some things missing on this vehicle, not a big deal. Just the little bumpers on top and the little side markers here. These are aftermarket rims, but they originally offered the alloy wheels. And you can see here, this is the locking hub. So if you want to put this in four-wheel drive, you go through a certain process and then you would turn this. Okay, so he says here 4x2 with a little arrow, and over here is an arrow, it says 4x4. So I would just turn this locking hub, and there's one on the other side in the front, and I would turn that too. With the front hub activated, make sure it's in neutral, and then come down here and put it into the gear that you need, low or high, four-wheel drive, and then go. And then when you're done, put this back into two-wheel drive and move the locking hubs in the front again. turn them.
The 70s were a great year for people to start experimenting with these Jeeps. You could see these with different Chevy engines in here and all kinds of upgrades throughout, aftermarket upgrades. One of them is this old diamond plating metal on here. This looks like it's ready to go for them. It's got the doors off. There's usually folding mirrors on here. This is part of the bracket that's left over, but you can fold the mirrors in and out. One of the upgrades from the Renegades was front bucket seats, and these are the original seats here. And there's supposed to be a rear bench seat, but over time things changed. They're not here. We've got an aftermarket soft top, and the tailgate does not open. It's permanently like this. We've got our brake lights. Let's see, some modified hitch here. Got our marker lights. This is our license plate. And then we have our gas cap here. Put the gas in. And then if we come down here, we can see where the tank is. Right here. The roll bar is also another feature to the Renegade. There's another little box under here. Got our little toolbox under here. We'll do that in a minute, I guess. They offered several different colors. This is Baja Yellow, and they also moved the stripes around over a couple of years. So we've got the Renegade here, and we've got the hood stripe coming down. I'm guessing they don't take this out in the rain very often. Can't buy rain here, this town. All right, okay, now let's go underneath. Okay, we have an open knuckle differential in the front. Some Jeeps have the closed knuckle. We've got some more of these wonderful leaf springs. We've got an aftermarket steering stabilizer. This had bigger and beefier brakes on the Renegade 1974 model. The skid plate was the add-on for the Renegade models. We've got our exhaust system coming up here. This is an aftermarket. We'll talk more about that. See the rear end in the back there? This little symbol means it has a V8 in it, the 304. We've got a radiator, our fan. We've got our pulleys and belts going over here to our power steering unit. And this is the master cylinder for our brakes. It's a nice little compact V8. You can see the exhaust headers going down. We've got our carburetor up top. We're missing the air cleaner. Is this a vent?
Breather vent.
This is our breather vent. Our distributor cap. We've got our coil. Come over here to our battery. These are our heater hoses. Here's our starting solenoid. And then you come down here, you can see a little oil filter. And on this side, you could see the exhaust headers going down. Let's start this 74 Renegade up and see what it sounds like. All right, we'll come down here and I'll turn the key onto this one position. I always put my foot on the clutch no matter what the gear is. And I'll just wiggle that around, make sure it's in neutral. Look at that, listen to that, it starts up perfectly. Now I'm going to pull this down into first. I'm going to show you first. So this is reverse. Stop there. We got first. We'll come over here to second, and then down to third. And we have our four-wheel drive in and out, high-low. All right, we've got it down into first. I'm going to take my foot off the brake, and I'm going to slowly pull the clutch out and give a little bit of gas. This is first gear. It's a nice, smooth Jeep. Easy to drive. Really nice to turn. Perfect, perfect. All right. Oh, to turn it off, I'm going to put it down like that, straight out. And I'm going to make sure that I put it in first gear. And I'm not sure about the brake here. So I'm not going to mess with someone else's brake unless I know for sure. But I usually put the brake in, have it in first gear.
The production date is January 1974, and 1974 is the model year. Got the blinker. No horn.
Take a look at our dash. We've got our lights, our wiper and washer. Switch like that. Come over here. Not sure what this little toggle's for. Got our hazard lights, little key switch, our amperes, our speedometer with the temperature, fuel, and then you could see here where the little triangle for the turn signal indicator lights are. Got the amount of miles, which I know that's never true. Our temperature gauge, and down to our oil pressure gauge. We'll come over here, and we've got that old glove box. And then to take the windshield down, you pull this both sides, and then you can lay the windshield down onto the hood. We've got our brake and brake release, and then this little button activates our brights. Just click that. We've got our clutch and our brake and our gas. Hey, if you have any comments or stories you have about these Renegades, we would love to hear from you. And please remember to like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. We have a lot of great vehicles we want to show you in the future. And thanks for stopping in. Bye.